What's up YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be on the Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Series Ironman Model 20. This, as a lot of you guys know, is probably one of the standouts in the most recent retro wave, as well as the She-Hulk. There were some other ones, but primarily a lot of people were looking for this and the She-Hulk. I gotta say that I have been hunting around for this figure for a little bit of time, and I have only been able to find the Whiplash and Count Nefaria. I went to so many different Targets around my area. I even went to one like out of state just by chance, and all I saw was Whiplash. So I was like, man, like either this figure is like being bought as soon as it's getting stocked, or it's just like not available. And we're only getting maybe Target's only getting partial the wave. But lo and behold, I went to my local Target. And right there, I noticed that they had a bunch of other figures. When I had checked there before, they only had the Count Nefaria, the Whiplash, and then I think it was like the all gold armor. But then I kind of looked and I was like, oh, they have another one. So they had this one and the other retro style one. I think if you guys are familiar with like the Avengers video game, like the old one back in the day, from I think it was like maybe the Super NES or something like that, or maybe Sega Genesis, but it was basically that classic Iron Man armor. But yeah, so happened to see this one, and I was kind of on the fence about it, but definitely this one is again one of the more sought after figures in the wave, so definitely had to pick it up. If you guys aren't familiar, this is the armor that was featured in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which was an amazing game back in the day, pre-MCU. And I would honestly say that that's probably the game that I would love to get remastered, because that thing, oh my god, that game, sorry to go on a rant, but man, that game just like introduced me to so many different characters, in Marvel, such as like, Moon Knight, Deadpool, Black Panther, you know what I mean? So definitely such a great game, and it really highlighted all their different power sets. And I'm going on a tangent, but basically this was the armor that was featured in the video game. Super long spiel, but yeah. So again, you get the retro style packaging, and then on the back, not really too much about it. This bio is pretty generic, and then of course you get the different accessories that it comes with. So with that being said, let's get into it. YouTube, and this is how the figure looks outside of the packaging. So as you guys can see, the presence of this figure just looks absolutely amazing. You can't go wrong with that red and that gold. I think it just really makes everything pop. And I like the way he looks, very intimidating. This is a very good looking armor. I would say this is very similar to the Extremis armor that we recently received, but of course there are some neat additions which I'll go over in later on. But yeah, I love the head sculpt. Again, he just looks very intimidating and imposing, which is cool. And again, everything looks nice. This is pinless, so yeah, this is definitely like peak. What Iron Mans were pretty much getting now are like, I don't think they're gonna get any better, you know what I mean? But let's go over the accessories, and then we'll go into the articulation. So of course he does come with the right fisted hand and the left kind of open hand. Again, you do get the left fisted hand as well as the right open hand. And of course with these hands, you can fit in the repulsor blast, which it's not fitting in there, but yeah, you can fit it in there. It's just not going in. There you go, kind of, sort of. You get the gist of it. He's truth be told, I mean, he does come before these. I don't really see the need of 4. I mean, I get it, like maybe 2 for the feet, 2 for the hands, but yeah, I think that I would have probably preferred like an unmasked head, or maybe something else, maybe some additional, I don't know what other types of hands you could do. I have heard I have watched videos of this figure, so I did kind of get an idea of what we were looking into, but I would say that maybe because of just the issues with the gauntlet, maybe we could have got the old school style where it was kind of molded in that repulsor shooting pose, and then maybe get one where it's hinged. So that could have been a nice trade-off instead of getting this extra 2 repulsor blast effects. But anyways, yeah, let's get into the articulation. So the head doesn't really get too much up and down, but for the tilt, actually not that much either. I figured it probably would have been. It looks like it can go a little bit more with the cut in the back of the neck. Maybe mine's just stuck, but it does look like it is a free-floating piece. There you go. Kind of get more up. There you go. And then, of course, he does have the butterfly joints, which it's a little stiff on mine. So they work, but truth be told, maybe it's because of these fins too that kind of hinder it. I would say that, I mean, it's not really that necessary. I mean, it looks cool, but this was a thing that I think a lot of people were really looking forward to, and I don't want to mess it up too much, but yeah. So yeah, and I feel like the way the pads are, like his shoulder armor is sculpted, kind of runs into the, into here, which limits the articulation. So you kind of have to like move his arms up. So I mean, it works, but then it's kind of not really necessary, honestly. I mean, especially with the armor, like a character like Iron Man, you don't really need butterfly joints. It's cool, and I know that was something that we were all expecting for the Extremis armor. So it's cool that they finally gave it to us. So I mean, I'm gonna give them kudos for that. You know what I mean? Like, they definitely kind of listened to what we were looking for and what we wanted. So you can't fault them for that. And they just have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. Yeah, double jointed. Yep. Oh yeah, there we go. And then of course he has the arms, or the wrist hinges. These are horizontal hinges. Yeah, it's cool. I would have loved to see what like them eventually implement what like Black Series did with their Marok, where it was a ball peg. I think that would have been just amazing, and that probably would have fixed the issue with like these, right? Kind of getting ahead of myself, but that would have been something cool to them to implement down the line, seeing that, Black Series, which typically is kind of like, they're kind of far behind Marvel Legends, so the fact that they were able to implement something pretty seamless and like, I want to say out there, it's pretty crazy. And then of course he does have that chest articulation, the torso, the diaphragm cut. I love this style. Again, I would have loved to get like an ab crunch too, but again, with the character like Iron Man, you don't really need it. But we've definitely gotten it in the past, so I don't see why they could have, they could have did it. And of course, he does have a waist swivel, which is nice. I figured that if you did like an ab crunch, you could get away with not having the swivel, right? Kind of like Lightning Collection. But for the legs, he does go up. It does get hindered by the waist piece here. So you're not going to get too much up, but you do get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. Then of course up, down, and then not much of a pivot, but yeah, you get a pivot. So all in all, it's pretty cool. I'm not gonna say that this isn't a bad figure at all. I love the design of it. And then for the arms as well, I like that the shoulder pads don't really hinder it too much. It's a soft plastic, so they still can go up. So yeah, getting him into action poses or flight poses, it shouldn't be a problem. Especially with like that neck articulation. Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's probably like, yeah, that looks amazing. So yeah, it's very cool. And then again, we'll try out this repulsor hand. Like, yes, it doesn't work as well as it should, again, just because of the design of it. My thoughts were either to clip it or maybe use like one of the the hands for the Extremis Iron Man. So I guess I can show you guys what that looks like if you guys want to look at an alternative. So if you did want to do the Extremis Armor Iron Man's hand, the color shades is slightly off. It's a little bit lighter than this, so it's a little bit more of a, a darker red. So, I mean, it is passable. I mean, you're not really going to be able to notice it that much, but again, this is just one of the options you have available. Ultimately, I don't really think this is going to be like something that's going to like detract you from buying it. if that makes sense. I mean, you know, think about how many repulsor hands we have, and I think having an Iron Man figure that certainly doesn't really have it isn't going to be, you know, make or break. I mean, you can still do the effect, it's just not going to be as good as, like, you know, the Extremis armor, or even the ones that already have the repulsor, you know, hand molded. So nonetheless, you know, just something to consider. But all in all, I highly recommend this, guys. I think that the look is amazing. Again, if you want to, you know, if you're happy with the Extremis armor, then, I mean, you don't have to really get this one. This really just comes down to personal preference. But these slight additions, and of course, like, the way it just looks, just makes it look very cool. But again, if you're happy with Extremis, you could certainly keep that one, and that'll be that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. This definitely kind of gives me inspiration to, you know, hopefully see some characters that we can use for, like, you know, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. One figure that I've really been wanting as of lately is, like, an Ultimate Thor. I know that we haven't really gotten too many Ultimates besides, like, Ultimate Captain America, I think, for the most part. So, you know, hopefully that is something that they are going to work down the line, because I would love to get, you know, kind of, you know, again, like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance style team shot, or, you know, just like the new group of characters. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care. Peace.